Hello, children. Let's learn something about pivot tables analyzation. Now, children, what do you mean by analyzation? Basically, when you have a lot of data, it can sometimes be difficult to analyze all of the information in your worksheet. Say, for example, you have a lot of students. Imagine 2,000 or 4,000 students in your school, and the teachers want to find out division wise information, or say, for example, your school has many branches and the school wants to have the branch wise details, then the pivot table option can help the school to analyze and quickly find out certain information by using the pivot table. Okay, now basically pivot tables can help make your worksheets more manageable by summarizing your data and allowing you to manipulate in different ways. Okay, now, for example, you could have a spreadsheet that contains information on employee number. Now, children, what I have done is I have entered the data which is already there in your books. Okay, that's your employee number, employee name, department, branch, monthly sales. Uh, okay, so I have already created that data. So we'll work on that data itself. We'll see how a pivot table can be created. Okay, children. Now, when I have this data, okay, the first step is I select this particular data which I want to analyze. Okay, now after analyzation, after selection, what I do is, children, uh, basically, children, when working with pivot table, the data should contain your titles in a single row, and the table should not contain any empty cells while creating your pivot table. So take care of the headings. These are the headings which are also known as fields. Okay, now in simple terms, children, how data is created? What do you mean by data? A piece of information, right? But in uh, specifically in now in your Excel, what have we done is we have created fields. Now these headings which are there: employee number, employee name, department, branch, monthly salary. Now what are these called as? These are basically your fields. Okay, the headings are usually when you work with the data. I'll just increase a little, children. Okay, when you work with your data, you need to have fields. Okay, now how the data is created? Now this is employee number is one field, employee name is one field, department is one field, branch is one field, monthly sales is one field. Okay, so these are called as fields. Okay, now a collection of many fields, like say for example I want to create a record for Rahul Sharma, so I have to make a collection of 5 fields here together: his branch, his department, monthly sales, and employee number. Then his record becomes complete. Okay, so to create a record I need to join multiple fields, enter multiple fields information. So that's how my one record is created, and many records together creates a data. Okay, that is in simple terms, children. I am not giving you the exact technical terms, but in simple terms, to understand, a database is created by the list of records, and a particular record is created by a collection of number of fields. Okay, now to work on this database, children, we are going to learn something about pivot tables. So what do I do, children? I click on, in the ribbon, click the insert tab. Okay, I click on the insert tab. When I click on insert tab, you see in my ribbon the first option itself is pivot tables. So what I do is, which is the group? Tables, right? The group is tables in this ribbon. So I click on the pivot table. Okay, when I click on the pivot table, what happens, children? I have here the first option called as create a pivot table. When I say create a pivot table, I have an option, children, whether I can select a table or a range, or I can use an external data source. External data sources means from outside, from the net, or you can use it from the workbook or some existing files. Okay, so you can open the data from elsewhere also, like sometimes some data is transferred via internet, so accordingly the links will be given by the company. So since you all are in the school children, you don't have to really work on these higher end data, but those who are working in an office, then they may require to have an external data source, the link of the data where it is stored. Okay, now here what we do is select a table. Now I had already selected this particular table, right children? So what I do is I choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. Now it is asking me a question, where do I want my report? So here I have a new worksheet, I have an existing worksheet. So children, what we'll do is I will work on a new worksheet. Now sheet 1 is there, right? Existing worksheet, I have to click here and then select the location where I want. But I do not want, see now if I want the pivot table here, it will be a little confusing uh, fact for us. So better we put it on a new worksheet. Okay, so I'll click here on the new worksheet and I'll say okay here. So as I come here, children, okay, you observe sheet 1 has my original data, sheet 2 has my pivot table creativity options. Okay, now as I enter into this pivot table creativity, on my menu bar tab, you see I got an analyze option extra and I got a design option here. In analyze I have certain options which I will be explaining you in this video. Okay, now here analyze, first option is, first of all we have to decide what should be there to create my report. To build a report, we have to choose the fields. Okay, now on my right you have pivot table fields box over here. How this appears children? In analyze, when you insert, this is the option field list. Okay, this is switching on and off of the options. Now what I do is, in this pivot table field, what I want to analyze children, I want to have say for example branch wise details. Now what I want to filter, I want to filter branch, right? So I drag the branch here, I just click on the branch and drag it in the filters. Filters means what I want to analyze, branch wise details like Delhi, I want Mumbai employees to be listed separately. So okay, what I want to analyze, that I have to put up in the filters. Now whatever are to be is to be calculated children, you have to put in the values. Okay, so monthly sales is to be calculated, so I put in the monthly sales over here. Then on the besides the sales, what I want is, in columns I want the employee name, so I drag the employee name in the columns. You see the employee name is come in the columns, but I don't want in the columns, we'll put it in the rows. Columns are like this, right? So I'll drag again the employee name over here in the rows. You see it is come in the rows over here. Then say for example I can put departments here, so I just come here and drag the departments here. Okay children, so now here I have dragged the fields which I wanted. I have just skipped the employee number for a while. Okay, if you want to click the employee number, you can drag it next to the rows. Okay, here the employee numbers will appear here, but then since the double value is here, for a meanwhile what we can do is we can just switch off the employee number for a while, so there is no confusion children for y'all. Okay, so just skip off the employee number in the pivot table for a while. Now here children I have some blank fields, then I have accounts and marketing sales. Okay, sales, marketing, account, these are the three fields which I have put for my analyzation of the fields, but my analyzation is branch wise. Fine, now my this pivot table is created. As I click on pivot table, you see children, when I click outside, what happens is, you see that those two options are gone. So to get Analyze and Design tab, what you have to do is you have to be in the pivot table. So I just have to click in the pivot table. Fine, children. Now, children, I am not exactly going through your books. I will explain the whole concept for you, and then accordingly, according to your book requirement, you can go through. I will explain the whole thing to you. Okay, so that it becomes an easy task for you, and I'll be explaining everything over here. Fine, children. Yes. Yes, we'll make some small videos, children. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll continue in the next two videos because this chapter is a little quite vast chapter. So I'll make some small videos so that it will be easy for you to refer. Okay. So now here, this video I will continue in the next part 2. Okay.